Happy Easter to you. Of course, by the time you see this, it will be the week after Easter. I'm in Point Reyes enjoying a walk to Wildcat Camp. I'm really digging my new gear, and I'll nerd out on that at the end for those who are interested in that kind of stuff. But I'm walking down this trail that parallels Highway 1. About a half a mile over there is Highway 1, and every now and then a pack of Harleys will come, roaring down the road, and it just fills the valley with its noise. I understand that instinct. I think, like, as humans, this frustration with life and just the desire to dominate, it's understandable. It's pretty deeply ingrained in us, and we just want to roar. I think back to when I was a kid and putting cards in the spokes of my bicycle so it would like the fact that I always the bike I loved to ride the most was my sister's pink hot pink bike. I don't think I was scaring anyone too much with my roaring. But anyway, I get the desire to roar, but as I get older, I find myself enjoying listening more as I'm walking down this trail. I can't help but contrast the difference between roaring down Highway 1 on a Harley versus just walking down this path. When you're roaring down the road on a Harley, you can't hear the sound of the little creek babbling beside the trail. You don't see, like I just saw this beautiful goldfinch, and just sat there looking at it. You don't have time to really absorb the textures of the trees and the shading of the light, the bark on these trees and some of the deadfall, the shape of the branches. You can't roar at nature and drink her in at the same time. And I guess sort of had enough of roaring at nature. I think as a species, we've pretty much established, our victory, and probably be just fine if we, quit roaring so much and started to listen more empathetically to nature. I can't help but also think on this day, for most of my life, I would have been frantically running around right now, getting my sermon ready, getting ready to sort of roar in a different way, to assert my answers and my solutions to life's big questions, to try to get others to agree with me and to, adopt my way of looking at things. It is, it's not exactly riding down the road on a Harley, but it was kind of, in a way, my own domination, or that, I had the way, and you needed to know that way too. And now I'm just finding a lot more joy, not in asserting a particular worldview or a way of understanding things, but of just listening, of just appreciating the range of ideas and ways of looking at things. Just immersing myself in the mystery. In the simplest form, I would say the transition I've been through over these past decade, more than a decade now, has been from faith, this idea that I knew I had things I believed in and stuff, to wonder, which is kind of letting go of faith, letting go of the idea that I know or that I have explanations, and just immersing myself in the mystery of my existence. And strangely, or maybe it's not strange at all, God seems so much more real in the mystery than in the answers that I used to give. I think one of the hardest things for me that made it hard to let go of my Christian belief system was that I assumed that if I did that, I would lose God. And I had this real sense of walking with God, that Jesus was like my friend and by my side, and I could, like someone was paying attention and cared about me. And letting go of that, oh, that was terrifying. But what I didn't understand is that I didn't really have to lose that. That this world around me is mysterious, and that whatever the force, the divinity, the Holy One, the whatever it is behind all of this is present in the mystery, even more than in the little box that I used to have that gave me a way to wrap my arms around it. And that's kind of it. I mean, maybe put it that way. Just because, well, back in the day, it was like I could wrap my arms around it. I really could. I knew how to address God. I knew, who God was. I knew all this stuff about God. I just knew. And now I don't. Can't wrap my arms around it. And it's more present by like diving into this huge mystery than it was in the illusion I had of having it contained and understood. There is an instinct to speak, to communicate, to say thank you, to pray. And so how do you do that if you don't know who you're talking to? Think of the psalm where it says, like, there is no voice, and the voice is heard everywhere. That's what it seems like to me. The Jewish instinct not to name God strikes me as really a good one. The word we use for the Old Testament God, Yahweh, is when Moses asked God, what's your name? And God said, my name is, and then he put together a string of syllables that's kind of unpronounceable. So the name of God is really unpronounceable. We transliterate it into Yahweh, but it's not really what the sound that the letters make. And not only that, then like the Hebrew people didn't even pronounce the name of God. I just saw Hail Mary, and Ryan Gosling's character meets an alien who's like this rock alien, and what is your name? And then the rock goes, he makes all these sounds that we can't understand, could not possibly pronounce. This is just like another creature. So you can imagine that the name of God is obviously not something we could ever comprehend, reproduce, say. I like that instinct not to name God. As I'm wrestling with this idea of how to address the divine, I'm really liking the thought of just simply calling whoever, whatever that is behind all of this friend. Not that I understand it or, like it's another human or anything like that, but just that it's a choice. I mean, will I regard my existence and the world around me as an enemy and as something alien and foreign to me? Or will I embrace it as a friend? It kind of works, and I can look out at this view here. It allows me to hear the sound of the little stream and say, hey, hello, friend. The birds, the roar of the ocean, all of those things. This is obviously whatever is behind all of this is so much more than me, so much more than any of this. Not something I could ever wrap my arms around. But speaking through all of those things, and I choose to regard that voice as a friendly voice. And it's a yes to my existence. So cool. There's a herd of elk that is grazing by the campground. Some have bedded down for the evening. I'm about to join them. Having my delicious oatmeal breakfast and thinking more about my friend. And the more the more I think about this idea of God as friend, the better I like it. Just and not defining friend as human or not human or anything. Just my existence, that mystery that is above and beyond me. It's friend. It's either friend or foe, and I choose friend. And I really like that. And when I get out here and I look around at this place, it reminds me, it does get me in touch with God, if you want to put it that way. It gets me in touch with my friend, because when I live only in my little, routine back in St. Helena, as beautiful as that place is, it's the same old, same old. And how much of our days are spent staring at sheetrock and paint. That there's nothing wrong with sheetrock and paint, but there is absolutely more to my friend than sheetrock and paint. And I think that maybe that's why I love to get out here so much. You could say, well, I get in touch with God or whatever, but it just reminds me that there is so much more to my existence and to my friend than sheetrock and paint, which, by the way, are very much human constructs that we mistake for the whole, and they just aren't. They just aren't. The whole point is to feel small, and you can't roar down the road and making a lot of noise, just celebrating yourself and your domination, and feel small at the same time. You do that to feel big, and I come out here to feel small. The length of the treks, my weakness up against a big climb like this, all of that, so many other things, the cold at night, the bugs, all of it makes me feel small. In other words, the things most people hate about backpacking. For those of you who watch to the end, your bonus or your penalty is that now I'm going to do a little bit of a gear review. If you're not interested, just hit stop. All right, time to geek out. Starting with the Micro Puff. This is a Patagonia Micro Puff. These are stupid expensive. Thankfully, my sister works for REI and got the pro deal. So it went from stupid expensive to kind of still ridiculously expensive. But anyway, I'm really happy with it. It's not quite as thick as the down jacket that I had before. It's not quite, just as puffy, but it seems to be just as warm, and I'm not sure how it achieves that. But it maybe it locks it in better, maybe it is better about blocking wind. I'm not sure what, but I'm very happy with the Micro Puff. Also, it compacts as small as my old down sweater, and it's just as light. So it's a pretty amazing piece of clothing. I'm quite happy with it. And then it's the Durston trekking poles. I talked about this earlier, how I never thought I would use these because I always thought they were for people who were weak. And that, come on, you don't need poles to get yourself up and down the mountain. But I just put in over a 15-mile day, and I don't know how well I could have done that without these. People would tell me, and I would just ignore them. I would say, I would poo-poo them, because I would say, come on, you don't need these walking sticks. But they would tell me they are just a big help when you're going up a hill, because you can kind of push with your arms as well as, just with your legs. And even more, they're a big help when you're going downhill. And wow, have I ever found that to be true. My knees are starting to get kind of sore sometimes when I backpack, and I love how, but when you're going down, you could just take a little bit of pressure off the knees on every step, and it adds up over time. So I, I can't believe it, but I am a walk and stick guy. The other reason I went to these are the poles for my new tent, which I will show you in a minute, the Durston X-Mid 2. One other thing about these I just thought of when I picked them up is they're practically weightless. They're so light that when I'm walking down the trail and I get to a flat part where I really don't need them, they're so light I can just grab them in one hand and just walk with them, and they don't bug me at all. So I'm very happy with those. Third piece of gear I never thought I would have is this super lightweight pack. It's made out of Dyneema, which is this really tough material. Everything is like small and light. Compared to my old, I had a Gregory, the Baltero, which is like one of the biggest packs Gregory makes. This pack, compared to the Baltero, was, I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds lighter. So the pack itself is just really lightweight. Surprisingly, the hip belt and shoulder straps, even though they're there's not as much padding, there's not any real reinforcement in the back, I actually found it more comfortable than the Baltero. It just seems really, it's like a lightweight sack on your back. It probably helps, of course, that instead of weighing, like 35 pounds, I'm carrying 20. So all of these things really add up, and I'm not sure I could have done 15 plus miles with my heavier gear. This is my sleeping bag, which I will, I don't even remember which one it is. It's an REI bag, it's goose down, but it's only 2 pounds. And it's not quite as warm as my other one, but my other one was nearly 4. So again, saving a couple pounds on the sleeping bag. Ultralight backpackers talk about the big 3. It's the sleeping bag, the pack, and the tent. Speaking of a tent, here's the tent. It's an X-Mid 1. I think I said X-Mid 2, but it's just a one-person. But it's actually plenty big for me and weighs, again, about 2 pounds. And again, my other tent, even though it was a very lightweight Big Agnes, weighed about 4 pounds. So you add all of this up, and it's amazing how when you get all done, you have a backpack that's just way lighter. Easy to pick up, easy to put on, easy to carry. Oh yeah, and then the shoes. This is the Merrell Moabs 3. Moab, they have, I don't know, they have many versions of this, but this is the most popular hiking shoe out there. It's a little heavier than the Danner 2650s that I had, but it has a much better, you can see it, but it just has a much more aggressive base, and it just feels more stable. And here's something really stupid. An ultralight pillow. I had the one I had was plenty light. This saved like about, I don't know, 0.3 ounces or something. But it is like incredible. This pillow is it's practically nothing. It doesn't weigh at all. So I haven't ever slept on it, so I'm anxious to see how it performs tonight. I did a bunch of research to find this stupid towel, but it's light, it dries really fast, and it's absorbent. I can wipe my nose with it and then rinse it out when I get to camp really well, dry it, and it's like it's clean, brand new. My wife wouldn't say that, but it seems that way to me. If you look way down the coast, you can see Alamere Falls, which are kind of cool down there. And I was down there earlier today. I'm just so much enjoying going to a lighter weight setup. I'm hoping that it will allow me to continue to do what I love, to backpack for many years many more years. I'm 62, about to hit 63, but I want a lot more experiences like this.